Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing all right. I am doing all good. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I keep doing starting videos off and then not finishing them from drinking on the weekends, basically, is the gist of that. I won't sugarcoat it. But here we go. We can wrap it all up into this and just call it a tour, and that will be all good. Um, so yeah, a little bit of devastation in the garden, not from the weather. We had a Halloween party and basically kids have no respect. We'll go and have a look at that as we go. A couple of them I am highly annoyed by. So yeah, next year I know to get spiky plants in pots that I can shove in the relevant areas, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So first of all, you can just see these pots are all out here. I've tidied up this area, you may see. No load of rocks and all that down there. Now this is so I can get to all the pipes and whatnot down there and tidy them up and get the sort of fascias done on them. If you're wondering where they all went, some of them are out the front and there's a big pile of them there. So yeah, these are all ones that need, something. The two pine trees on the right there, they don't need much going on over winter, but I hadn't potted them up from when I bought them, so I've just put them in some new compost. I had forgotten about the taller one at the back there, so yeah, that's why he's a bit brown, but we'll see how we do. I can hopefully rejuvenate him a bit and shove him out the front as a filler. Other than that, down in the bottom in the hanging baskets, we've got the Nephrolopis. We know they really don't like any cold. I think below 2 degrees and they'll all brown off, so they're nice and small so that I can take them inside, and then next year they'll get big and I think they'll have a really good effect next year. Got a banana pup which I saved from when I took the bananas out earlier on in the year, and then the middle one is a Dixonia fibrosa. Obviously only got that one this year, so that'll just stay in that pot. And then where I divided the big Lophosauria, which was over there where that big gap is, yeah, that's just in there, hopefully recovering. I've mulched all my pots and whatnot. Still impressed with the passion flowers. They don't have flower for a long time. It's still flowering, this thing. Quite nice. Just add something. I'm a bit kind of, I was hoping it was going to be really bushy. It is only the first year it's been put in, and to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave it and see what it does. I know it's in a pot, so it's not going to go crazy, but yeah, the one thing I forget to do is feed pots, because yeah, I just forget. So we'll see how they do next year. And the idea of this is given the perfect effect here, where they're kind of drooping down, that one there and that one there. And the idea is that all of this up here, I'll put horizontal wires going across all this, and then the idea is that in a year or two's time it'll be like traipsing through a ceiling made of it, with them all hanging down like that, and I think that'll give a really nice effect. So may as well go over to there, to Camellia Corner. Not too much going on over there. You can see the sad Tetrapanax little pup, or whatever you want to call it, that I took out of one of the pots we were just looking at with the passion flowers. It's wilted a bit. I only did that a few days ago, so hopefully that'll recover. The camellias are all starting to bud up now, looking nice and glossy, so happy days. I wasn't too sure about that Dixonia in there to begin with. I think it was a bit oversized. I just didn't have anywhere to put it, but I think if I get some stuff going up that trellis, up that fence, I think it could actually do a job there. And then, like I said, with the Tetrapanax, is in and around that, I'm probably going to take the ferns out and put some of that black grass in there, I think, or something small, if you see what I mean. Obviously I've got to render up the front of the flower beds at some point, but that we'll do that all together at a later date, because I'm going to build some flower beds here either side of the window, if you like, to go up here. But we shall see how that goes when we do. So yeah, pretty good over there. So yeah, honeysuckle's doing all right. We've got some flowers on it. These are about 3 or 4 days old, but they've got that really nice orange colour. They start off white. They're pretty long. If I use my finger for scale, I haven't got a banana on me, so they're pretty long, and some of the leaves are getting absolute beasts as well. Down the bottom there's more of them, but yeah, they're all can't reach it, but they're bigger than my hand, these leaves, so it's quite good. Devastation number one is I'd only put this Blechnum chilense little offcut that I took out of the centre bed in there, last week or the week before, and the kids were playing hide and seek and stood on that, and even worse, they stood on the giant honeysuckle. Most of it seems to be okay, but this one here it's completely snapped off. You can see it all drooping up there. So yeah, I mean, a lot of this honeysuckle is going to die off anyway over winter, so I'm just going to leave it. That's why I haven't been pruning it, is because I just want to leave it and just see how bad it gets affected and whatnot. So yeah, and then next year I'll cut it in the relevant spots for it. But it's done really well. It's still, I think it's just only started slowing down now, actually. You know, growth wise, you can still see a few bits of lime bits on, but yeah, nice to have a random set of flowers. Oh yeah, I finished the heating for it as well. So yeah, I've got my heating coil down there for the roots and the main part of the stem, and then you can see I've just hacked into it last year, and I've actually sort of tied it in as best as I can underneath the trunk. When it gets up to about this level, it all goes off in random directions, so I kind of had to go right the way out the back, across the top, and then come down here because it sort of coiled itself the other way around. That's all up and running and working, so as soon as the weather comes in, I can just turn the heating on inside the house to it, and yeah, it'll just keep it warm hopefully, but we'll see. Could have just got lucky last year that it survived and the heating doesn't work, but we won't find out until, you know, 6 months time, I guess. So yeah, over here, Clematis armandii. Who would have thought that we'd get a summer flowering honeysuckle and a winter flowering Clematis armandii flowering at the same time? But I think that's more likely due to the fact that the Clematis armandii only went in at the beginning of the year and it's a bit confused basically, so we'll call it that. I'm hoping, I know they come over here and that Scheffler, the one that's not doing too well, has been knocked upright because that leaf isn't touching those rocks anymore, so I think the kids hid in that bit there, so hopefully they haven't trampled the Clematis. It does look a little bit wilty, but yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it's done really well because you can see where I've put it in. That's how high it was when I put it in at the beginning of the year, and it's gone all the way up and then gone right, and then I've tucked it around the back of the fence, as you can see, and it comes across the top, comes down here, and then goes all the way down there. Now that's pretty good growth for 1 year, but when you consider that this honeysuckle is completely overtaken it like madness, but I think the Clematis will catch up over winter when this thing all dies off, and then we'll tidy it up next year. So moving on around, not too much going on over. I'm just prepping for the patio. This is why I needed to clear all that area down there, is because this wood down here, which is all the offcuts to the fence and other such things, is going to be like the face up to it, but we'll get into that another time, and then I'll just paint it. I can paint it all rather nicely. So in here, much of a muchness going on really. Yeah, nothing to report. Lophosauria didn't get trampled on, thankfully, so that's good. Moving over to this bit, well, Emmy's doing all right. That'll have to go in spring next year now. This Atrata, I think I say it every time, is probably the best fern you can buy for my money. I did think it was the Lophosauria, and then it sort of, as soon as I said, yeah, I'm probably going to curse this thing will be dead the next time you look at it, but the last time I said the Lophosauria is the best one, it went all brown and horrible. Yeah. Yeah, this Scheffler is looking nice broad leaves on it and nice and open, so happy days. I think the kids did climb through there, trampled my new Blechnum Braziliense that I put in there. It was just starting to look good, and then they've trampled it again. We're a little bit worried that they were hiding in behind here, and they've trampled the Clematis. But yeah, like I said, spiky plants for next Halloween party. This flower spike, the tall one there just in the center of the screen, has just opened up as well, so I get a nice few bits of flowers. That Clematis hasn't done quite as well as the other one. I take it that's to do with the sun. So yeah, moving on round, the sort of nicest aspect of everything is all doing all right. Didn't get many flowers off of the Pilostega. You can just see that little stump there, but it's growing some, so happy with that. We'll just leave that to it. This Scheffler is looking pretty good. Cyathea is sending out new fronds. This one coming towards us here, you can just see them. All the Cyathias, as soon as it hit 15 degrees and below, they've just started taking off again. Now down here we've got another little bit of devastation. Whoever it was climbed over and snapped off some fronds off of the Dixonia. They've trampled the maidenhair, and then I don't know if you can see that break in the other Pilostega you know, the Pilosagia that doesn't get any light and is really slow to grow and took ages to get going. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's been snapped. Something I have been thinking about around here is this fig tree. I'm thinking I might get rid of it. I think I got a little bit attached to it because it was one of the first plants I brought. I think it was this and a cheese plant was the first ones I bought, like literally, not ever, but you know, for this garden. So I got a little bit of attached to it and felt like I had to use it, and it does look good and it does kind of do what it does. The only thing is I'm just wondering, one part of me is saying, look, if I knock these bottom two branches off, you can just see there, and then let it grow a big canopy, it'll be all right. I'm just wondering whether it might take too much away from these plants down the bottom, and then it'd be like quite a nice little hiding spot for birds and stuff. But yeah, the other part of me saying it might get a bit too much to handle, and I do well to chop it out, dig it out, just rearrange those plants a little bit to give the other Hydrangea Samanii behind the Fatsia on the left a little bit of a chance, and put something like a Scheffler in there or something, and then that would tie up quite nice, because there'll be a Fatsia right over there where that bit of bamboo stick is sticking out. So yeah, Fatsia spider's web there. Then there's a Scheffler sort of under the Cyathea frond. Then we've got another Fatsia here. Then we've got another Cyathea here. Scheffler, Fatsia, Cyathea, Scheffler. So that could work quite well, be a bit more easy to manage, and it's evergreen as well. But yeah, so thinking about that, that's something to think about for myself. Again, like I said, the Cyathias are going mental. This one's just thrown up 2 new fronds. You can see the one against the fence and the one just starting to unfurl there. It looks like all this has got some damage as well from kids standing on it. That's an old Cyathea frond. I think that hydrangea looks okay. It doesn't look like it's taking a dig. But yeah, the joys, I think we call it. One thing I have been liking actually is these Fatsias. They're quite underrated, the flowers. It doesn't look too good now. It's good for pollinators. You can probably see all the wasps and flies on them. But they kind of... I was looking at them when they were all puffed out, and they kind of like... reminds me of Christmas, because A, the foliage is so dark, so it's got that like holly effect to it, and then B, because these are like puffy and fuzzy, they were really, it sort of reminded me of Christmas. And also I think, is it alliums, they kind of look like that kind of a little bit. And yeah, like I said, an absolute hive, pun intended, for little flying insects and that. So yeah, really sort of underrated. And I did chop them off the first year, but then yeah, I just left them last year, and it does look good when the new flush comes out next year and this old stalk is sort of falling underneath it. So yeah, good stuff. In here, luckily for me, this is the one I was actually most worried about with damage from kids, is this Cyathea is doing all right. You can see again, these 3 Croziers have been in there for probably 2 months, maybe three months, haven't moved, and now they've all started coming out just at the wrong time. And it is a bit of a shame, because I don't think I'm going to be able to protect those fronds. The 2 ways of doing it really are to get a fixed shelter out here, which I could do, because obviously I've got all this I can work off, and maybe put some of the corrugated roof on top and insulate it, and I've got the coil down there to generate a bit of heat. So I might do, or I could sort of tie them or pull them all up together, tie them up, put bamboo around it, and then fill it with straw or something. But I think that maybe it would damage the fronds anyway. They won't come out looking good. I don't know. I really don't know, but I do need to figure it out, because what I'm thinking is not next year necessarily, but maybe the year after, where that conifer is right there, that would be an excellent place for something like a Cyathea diabauta or medullaris, the black one. So if I can find a technique that works and is pretty good, then you know I can do it. You know, now I've got the heating and stuff like that. So yeah, well, it's something for me to think on. The Dixonia has been flushing as well, but otherwise we're all good down here. This Korea rock fern, when it's next to rocks, I know it's just probably my mind playing tricks on me, but when it's next to rocks, it looks completely different. It looks like you can just see all the new it like makes it all stand out a bit more, rather than sort of flat patty next to it. But I guess that's the way it is. fancy a spider's web and all that sort of doing okay down there as well. And a couple of the plants down behind that, they were hiding behind that chair, so I think the Tracheospermum's all right, but whatever was behind it, I think it was a holly fern, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't think that's had a great time. I'm too scared to look for it though. So that pretty much rounds it up for the garden. For me going forward, is mainly about this area. Like I said, it's all kind of snowballs off each other. So the idea is that I'm going to get some more of this wood that I've used for the pergola, which I think was 9x2. And put them on the outside of that vertically going down, and then a bit underneath the sockets running across horizontally is a little bit of a bar, and then underneath the bar will be my command center where all the valves and plumbing's going to go. So I'll get that done, then I can use the old wood to face up all of the pipes, and I've got all that insulation over there in the corner which I'll put on it, and then the same again going left under there, take out the old outside tap because there'll be a new one under there, and then kind of just face it all up, and then I can paint it nice and it'll just be quite nice. But my medium term project actually is, you may remember a couple of months ago I was on about wall hung clotheslines have under here, so that we can have a wall hung clothesline under the cover basically, but I haven't really been looking at it too much. But what I did think is, like, this area up here is super big area, and I don't know if what the name of them is, but I was thinking I could build up just a square frame, or you know, whatever, and put the washing line going across it, which would actually give me a serious amount of washing space, you know what I mean? You'd be able to wash everything, put everything up there, especially if I did going from left to right now, if you see what I mean. That means you'd be able to hang double sheets in that area, and then what I could do is run it on like a cable on a rack, and then bring it down to here and have like a turny like that, and then it'll lower it down out of and then it'll lower the whole frame down, put all the stuff on, come here, and it'll bring it up into there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, that may all change. I may just take the easy way out. You can see I need to clear the roof, but that is perfect timing, because when that tree drops all his leaves, which it's starting to do already, it's going to drop them onto my nice catches here, as I'm calling them. Look at it with a positive light, and then I'll just sweep all the leaves into a bucket, and then I'll go and chuck them over all the tree ferns and cyathias and anything that needs protecting. It'll have the heat in as well, and yeah, that should do it for winter protection really. So yeah, that's that. And then the patio, which I'm probably not going to be able to do this month, but I might do it over Christmas, the patio, because I need to get rid of all that wood over here first, if that makes any sense. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and I think that'll probably do it for today. So yeah, hope you're all having fun and had a good Halloween and whatnot. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.